I'm Richa Dhody and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to a prominent wedding photographer of New York City. So if you want to be a professional photographer or a successful freelance artist, today's episode is for you. So stay tuned and let's get started. My guest today has been living a successful freelance life for more than 10 years now. He's an expert in lifestyle, fashion, and wedding photography. Guys, he's been featured in the New York Times, Vogue, Forbes, Fortune, Style Me Pretty, and that's just to name a few. In our chat today, he describes the difference between what is a great picture and what is an ordinary picture. He talks about how a freelancer can keep themselves motivated and how can we keep progressing in our profession. In the end, he gives such a great advice to budding photographers. Let's welcome my dear friend, Phillip Van Nostrand. Hey Phil, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
I feel there's so much to learn from photography from you, Phil. But first, tell me what is the secret to your attraction and popularity, huh?
There's no secret. That's only my hair. It's the only thing.
They are they are a super attraction, I would say. Yeah. So tell me, tell me about your journey. You were born, brought up in California.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, how was the living there?
Okay. Yeah, I was born and raised in Santa Barbara, California. Mm-hmm. And I stayed there for almost my whole life until I was 32, and then I moved to New York City to pursue commercial photography and like commercial and fashion type photography. So yeah, that's the short version.
Okay, so what were you doing before photography?
Oh yeah. Before photography, I was actually working a lot with youth, and I was like a teacher, a tutor, a mentor, and I was involved with kids in church, and I was just very, very I thought I would be a teacher forever actually, but photography kind of won out in the end. Yeah.
So how did you discover that photography is your calling?
Well, I guess the first time that I ever had a camera was when I was 21 and studied abroad, and I went on it was actually called Semester at Sea, and I was on a ship and we went around the world. I went to Brazil, South Africa, Cuba, Tanzania, India, Korea, Japan, and saw all these places, and I had a really tiny digital point and shoot camera. We would take classes while we were on the water, and then when we would land in a country, we would just go and do whatever we wanted for 4 days or 3 days or 5 days, and then get back on the ship and then start taking classes again. It was a really amazing program.
That's exciting.
It still exists now. People can check it out. It's semesteratsea.org. But I fell in love with photography then, because I was seeing all these amazing things, and I wanted to kind of capture them in a cool way, and so then I got a better camera, and I started traveling every year after that. Yeah.
So what is the camera that you used to use before?
My very first camera, I think, was a Sony Cybershot. That was like a 3 megapixel point and shoot. And then my first professional camera was a Canon Rebel XT I think was the very first one. So it was just like a $300 or $400 digital SLR that worked. Yeah.
And what do you use now?
Now I have a Canon. I still have Canon cameras, but I have a 5D Mark IV, and then a backup Canon camera. So yeah, it's one of the top level ones for at least shooting weddings and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So, let me tell you something.
Tell me something.
My husband, after every picture he clicks, he'll be like, baby, check it out. What an awesome click. So I want to hear from you. What is really a nice picture? What is a wonderful picture?
That's funny. I think for me, a wonderful picture is something like especially if I'm traveling or seeing something, I think a wonderful picture is always going to be something that I haven't seen before, which is really hard to do, I think, normally. If you go to Paris and you take a picture of the Eiffel Tower with like the bridge and the street lights in the foreground, you can buy it on any postcard and everybody does the exact same picture, you know? In New York City, if you go into Dumbo, like in Brooklyn, and you go on those bricks and you see like the bridge and then the Empire State Building, like everybody has the same picture. But if you can do it differently in a way that like causes people to pause, then I think that you've taken a good picture. But that's hard to define.
Very interesting. I like that thought. So what was like the biggest challenge when you were like, in your initial years? It's been 11 years for you doing photography, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how has it changed over time?
I think one of the interesting things that's changed is when I started doing photography and getting paid for it. Facebook was really, really, and Facebook is still big, obviously, but Facebook was like the only thing that people used to share their photos. Instagram didn't even exist for a few more years. So the only places that I was showing my pictures and where I was getting business was by showing photos on Facebook. After every wedding I did, I would make an album on Facebook and share the photos, and people would comment and all this stuff. But I don't spend hardly any time on Facebook anymore, like at all. And I put a lot of my energy into Instagram. And I don't even like Instagram that much anymore, but it's the only place to like show stuff. But yeah, so I think that like the social media landscape has really changed, and Instagram is kind of like the hot thing for now.
So when you have to say between Instagram and networking, what would you rate higher?
Oh, I think nothing beats networking. I think in person, getting to know somebody and building a relationship will always last longer than like any post you put down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. But how do you measure your progress with over time?
That's a good question. I guess that's really hard to answer. I think for me personally, like I have business goals for myself. Like I want to book a wedding at a certain price point, like 15,000 plus. And so that's like a goal of mine. And until I get it, that's something that I'm like working towards. In the commercial world, I'd love to get repped by a photo agency and shoot hospitality like for hotels and stuff. And so until I get repped by an agency or I book like a large contract with a hotel, that's how I'm measuring my progress, is by trying to achieve the goals that I'm setting for myself every year.
Do you feel there's always confusion when you have to price your services?
Oh, yes and no. I mean, there's a lot of resources out there. So whatever kind of photographer you are, or whatever kind of artist you are, you can kind of see what the people at like the top level are doing and charging. I know there are photographers in our industry who are charging $42,000 to shoot a wedding. There's at least two that I know, but they have like, you know, big names attached to their price tag. And they've shot celebrity weddings and all this stuff, so they can kind of command that price. If you want to book a ton of weddings, then you could price yourself at $3,000, and you'll be kind of in like the middle market, and there's a ton of people there for you. I'm sort of like in the lower of the luxury level, and I'm fine. This is a short answer. Every single time I price myself, I try to push it a little bit and then see what they say, and if it's possible, then I like try to charge just a little bit more than I would normally charge. Not every time, but every year I'm trying to do that just to push what I can do. And I find if people say yes, then that's what I feel like I'm worth.
Wow, that was very insightful, I'm sure. But you travel so much. You've traveled more than 40 countries.
Yeah.
So, like, before you start traveling, do you give yourself an assignment or you just go with the flow?
I just go with the flow now.
Yeah.
I think I don't. I mean, I wouldn't recommend this for everybody, but I'm very like casual when I travel. I sometimes I'll have a ticket to another country, but I won't have figured out where I'm staying until like 2 days before, and then I'm like, oh, I should find an Airbnb. But I just sort of know that every country has enough resources to sort of make travel very easy. You can book an Airbnb the day before you go somewhere, and then like show up, and it's going to be fine. So I don't travel. I don't plan too much. And I like to sort of meet people as I travel and hear what they suggest, and then kind of let that guide my journey. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's your way.
Yeah.
So the big picture, your picture got picked up for the New York Times.
Oh, yeah.
What was the feeling of at that moment when you were capturing that the bride and the mother who's unwell?
I mean, so the picture you're referring to is I photographed a wedding for Jacqueline Hill Events. I guess it was 2 years ago, maybe last year. And
Yeah, 2017.
and the bride's mother was sick. She was actually dying of cancer, and so they moved the wedding up. Like they were gonna do it in January or June or whatever, but I think they were doing it in October, and they moved it all the way up to June because like things were looking bad for the mom, and so
Yeah.
the whole day was like really special for everybody involved, and it was like very meaningful because they're all there for the mother and for the bride and groom, but not really any other reason. And I just got a shot that was it was after the ceremony. The mom like went back to her bed, and so there was like a quiet moment between the daughter and her mother. And I got a picture of that, and then that ended up in the New York Times. I didn't know it was going to be big. I just knew that it was going to be important to the daughter, and so that's why I wanted to be there. But I didn't know if it was going to get pub. I didn't really think about that at all. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't being obtrusive and that they were like having a quiet moment, and that
What has been your favorite assignment so far?
That's a good question. I should know this already. I guess I could say this. Okay, so I've been going to a luxury wedding and events conference called ENGAGESUMMIT, and it's pretty popular in the wedding industry if you're involved with like luxury events. And most recently, like literally a month ago, I was assigned to be like in charge of the photography team for the conference in Dubai. So I guess my favorite most recent assignment was I got to go to Dubai and take pictures for this conference in front of like 250 of the top wedding professionals and event professionals in the world, and shooting in front of the Burj Khalifa, which is like the tallest building in the world. And it was just a very magical, wonderful experience, and something that, I could never have planned on my own. And I got to be in places that I just wouldn't have even like thought of or had access to. And I started going in 2016, and now I just go to all of them all the time. It's radically transformed my business through like the people that I met. I basically know you because of people that I met at Engage. And my whole, like, my prices raised, like the quality of my work raised, and I just got to be surrounded by all of these people who are really pushing the bar in the wedding industry, and I'm happy to call them my friends now. So I really love it.
Wow, that is incredible. That is the power of genuinely connecting with people, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
But as a self-employed person, how do you keep yourself motivated, to be engaged in your art form all the time?
That's a very good question. I think, I mean, I can't say this for everybody, but for me, like, I think I was born with like a extroverted personality and kind of competitive and like a little bit ADD. So I'm always like busy, and I'm always trying to do better for myself, and I'm always excited to meet people. And so I think that really works for like a solo entrepreneur, to network all the time, to fill up my calendar. Even these days, as we're in, like, we're not allowed to talk to, like, see people in person, and it's like social isolation. I'm still doing over this last week. I did like 17 Zoom calls through networking events, including like Engage stuff, WIPA in New York City, like a men's group I'm a part of, these like work groups that I do, and just like little happy hours. So I'm not stopping.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How social are you? I love it.
So I just like look for opportunities to connect with people, and I find it really exciting. And I think for introverts, that's not a very good strategy, but I would say, like, to anybody listening, that whatever you know fills your soul or like feeds you with joy, then like go towards that. And maybe it's just connecting one-on-one with people or talking to your family or like posting blog or writing, or for you making videos, then like go towards that. And
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, tell us a little bit about the book you're working on. I heard a little about that.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I started a book project a couple of years ago. I'm still in the like robust book proposal stage. So I've done like 5 versions of the book proposal.
Okay.
And the book is called How to Live an Epic Freelance Life. And it's
Mhm.
basically based on conversations that I've had with tons of photographer mentees and people in my world, talking about how I'm able to travel so much, still make a lot of money, enjoy my life, sleep in when I want to, and shoot over like 200 jobs a year, you know? So that kind of stuff, and how to be like a successful freelancer. So it's really exciting, and I want to get it published the traditional route. So I'm trying to find like an agent who will take it on and do some great interviews with a lot of like interesting people that I've met along the way, and tell lots of interesting stories from my travels. So
This is fantastic. I'm excited for your book. So, yeah, when is it getting launched?
uh,
2021? Before that, I'm waiting for it.
probably 2021. That's like fingers crossed. That'll be great.
Fingers crossed. Yes. So I'll ask you some. This is going to be a quick rapid fire kind of round. Okay, you have to answer in one word. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So give me a weirdest nickname that you've got.
Philly cheesesteak.
Cheesesteak.
Philly cheesesteak. People call me
Okay.
Philly cheesesteak. Yeah.
Your favorite? Is it colored picture or black and white?
Color.
Hmm. If not a photographer, what job would you be doing?
Probably something with youth, like teaching. Teaching.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So tell me, photography heaven. Is it India or Italy?
Ooh, India. Absolutely.
Did you say that for me?
No, but I would have, but no, 1,000% India. I've traveled to India 3 times now, and it's like phenomenal.
So
Um,
how's that experience? Oh my God, I have to break this, but my rapid fire is going on. But I want to hear your India experience as well.
well, why don't we talk about India right after the rapid fire? I'll tell you
Got
anything.
it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
let's move on. So who is your favorite photographer?
Oh, Henri. His name is Henri Cartier,
Mm-hmm.
Bresson, and he's a French photographer, like old French photographer who did street photography, and his images are phenomenal. Him and Vivian Meyer, those two.
Okay, I'm sure we're interested in that.
Look
So,
great.
what is the secret to your curls?
Oh, it's all natural. I use shampoo and good conditioner. Today I used Herbal Essence shampoo and conditioner, and it gives me very nice curls. And I just let it air dry. I don't do anything. No product.
Uh-huh. Okay, yeah. So for you, is it street photography or studio?
I probably prefer street photography.
Hmm. Are you looking for a partner right now?
At the moment, no. I enjoy being single.
Okay. Would you rather have a partner in your field or a different field?
In my field, like photography
Yeah.
or weddings, I would say different, but they should be an entrepreneur.
Okay, that definitely. Okay, so all the entrepreneur people, our awesome looking attractive friend is ready here.
Thank you.
Okay, tell me about your trip to India.
India is so amazing because the colors are just so vibrant. The people are phenomenal. There's so many crazy things to see on the streets, like cows and people selling Coca-Cola and like shoe shiners and crazy
Yeah.
rickshaws, all this stuff. So it's just like a feast for the eyes. I really love it a lot. Yeah.
Oh my God, you made me feel nostalgic right now.
Yeah.
Oh, this is amazing. So tell me a little bit. What would be your message to your 2021 bride and grooms?
Well, considering the circumstances we're in right now with the COVID-19 virus, everybody is kind of changing plans, and some weddings are getting canceled and postponed. For future brides next year, I would say really remember the reasons why you're getting married, and understand like how special it is. I think some people get a little bit lost in the wedding planning process and caught up with making things perfect, but if we learn nothing else from this time of social isolation, it's that it's like a great gift just to be around the people that we love, and I hope that they can bring that to their wedding day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. What advice would you give to the young and aspiring photographers? Well, how would you guide them?
Sure. For aspiring photographers, I meet a lot of young photographers and students in New York who want to do the job. I would say, like, truly meet as many people as you possibly can. Let people know that you're doing photography. Keep shooting no matter what and posting it all the time so you feel busy and you look busy. People like to work with people who are busy. And I think it's really important to work with mentors and see how other photographers do work. And then you can decide if you like how they do it. Or, I mean, I think there's so much, even when I moved to New York and I was 32 years old, I had a mentor who was just like 4 years older than me, but I worked with him every Wednesday for free for like over a year. And I learned a lot about commercial photography, about lighting, about how to be on set. And I think it's just, there's like no greater education than working under a mentor. Yeah.
Wow, Phil, that is fantastic. And these advice are not just for photographers. Like I can relate, completely relate with that. Anyone entering the art field definitely needs a mentor and to see, how things are presently working and get trained by someone who has the expertise.
Exactly. I agree.
Right. Thank you. This was fantastic. Your journey has been truly inspirational. Thank you for sharing the real side of you, Phil.
Thank you. This was lovely. You're a great interviewer.
Thank you. I'll see you again, okay? I'm going to see you soon after all of this is over.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Are you guys thinking the same thing as I am? I thought Phillip was a bundle of inspiration and knowledge. He could not stress enough that we keep working on our art form, we keep displaying it, and we meet as many people as we can. What do you think? How do you grow your business? Tell me in the comment below. Also tell me if there's any other question or if there's any other profession in the event industry that you would like to talk about. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.